Hello Africa, hello televiewers, good afternoon and welcome to Views on the Continent, the first edition in the month of April. Pleased to have you tuned to the programs of Afrique Media as we talk today on Cameroon regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and the silence of the country's head of state since this pandemic broke out. The citizens of the country have been raising eyebrows, asking questions on the whereabouts of the President, His Excellency Paul Biya, recording that the country has already had a total record of 233 infected cases with 5 recoveries and 6 deaths. And up till today, since the first infected case was identified in the country's capital city, Yaoundé, on February 24th, up till today, none has seen nor heard from the president. This at the moment when the world is faced with a common enemy and the leaders are making outings to reassure their citizens and to make sure that all the preventive measures are being taken and all necessary support is being given. The president of the country, the Central African nation, Cameroon, is nowhere to be heard or seen. So today we're asking ourselves a question in Views on the Continent: where is the president of Cameroon and what are the strict measures he's taking? There have been lots and lots of controversies regarding the absence of His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, and many questions and controversies have been coming up as to people wanting to know, is it the outing of the president that's going to make a real solution to this problem? Or what is going to be the real solution to the COVID-19 pandemic that is swelling in Cameroon with already 233 cases, faced with the weak health system of the country? Regarding equally the situation in the country, yesterday the Prime Minister, Chief John Gote, announced the creation of a solidarity fund that is under the instruction of the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, which the government has given a support of 1 billion CFA francs to support and curtail this pandemic that has been spread worldwide and is affecting most countries, and Africa is not left apart. So now at the moment when many nations are putting hands on deck, individuals, institutions are putting contributions in order to fight this pandemic, Africa, Cameroon in particular, has not seen the gesture of its own millionaires and is asking the question, why are the millionaires of Cameroon missing in the contributions and support regarding the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic? So we look at all of this in today's edition of Views on the Continent, your interactive program, where we shall be expecting your calls and your contributions on the numbers that are appearing beneath your screen. You call us and give us your own take on the topic that has been tabled today. Where do you think the president of Cameroon is, and do you also succumb to the speculations that are circulating about his ill health? What are the measures supposed to be taken, and what is going to be the strict, or what is going to be the aim of the Solidarity Fund? What is it going to serve for? Let's take into consideration that countries like Nigeria are already doing great in fighting this pandemic and creating welfare support by also opening some quarantine centers for people that are infected in the country in order to avoid the spread. What is Cameroon doing regarding all of this? We look at this in today's program, expecting your calls and your participations. So without so much ado, I would like you to equally take a listen to a report that has been compiled diligently by Louise Bidbeng that gives us more intake on the topic of today. Then we'll be back in the studio.
Silence is what Cameroon's President Paul Biya is known for. This hand of leadership style has been his master strategy for the past 38 years as president of the Central African nation. But in times like this, when the world over is fighting one common enemy, leaders especially have shown up to console and unite with their people. Meanwhile, the continuous absent and sealed lips of 87-year-old Paul Biya has raised several questions in Cameroon and answers, with others suggesting that he may have succumbed to ill health. Since the COVID-19 was declared a global health emergency on January 12, 2020, Cameroon from March 6 to April 1, 2020 has moved from 1 case to now 233 confirmed cases of the COVID-19 with 5 recoveries and 6 dead. Many have applauded the Minister of Public Health, Manawuda Malachi, who has become a Twitter star since the outbreak as he updates the population on the evolution of the deadly virus, while others think the situation at hand requires urgent and pragmatic solutions. A doctor working with the royal population laments that the Cameroon health system could break at the very beginning even before the situation reached a peak, citing that there are no equipments to handle too many cases of respiratory diseases at a time. While describing the outbreak in Cameroon as a suicide, he has equally called on the population to stay home to prevent the worst as the cases keep increasing. In the midst of the coronavirus epidemic, while other leaders in neighboring countries are on the front line, the fact that Paul Biya delegates announcements concerning the response to COVID-19 to his Prime Minister is causing controversy does the question, where is Paul Biya? However, according to a decree signed by the Prime Minister, Head of Government's Chief Dr. John Gute, made public on March 31st, the Head of State has ordered for the newly created Coronavirus Response Special National Solidarity Fund to be urgently credited with the sum of 1 billion CFA francs. The money will be set aside to finance response strategy operations to curtail the rapid spread of the coronavirus pandemic in Cameroon. What priority issues are to be handled with the funding? Is the money sufficient? And other questions on the whereabouts of other contributions made to support Cameroon in the fight against the COVID-19 remains unanswered.
A detailed report on the actual situation in Cameroon regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and its spread. As we said earlier at the beginning of the program, for those of you just joining us now, we are looking at the silence of the head of state, Paul Biya, in the country in the face of the soaring cases of the coronavirus pandemic in the country Cameroon. So since the outbreak of the pandemic on the 24th of February, when the first case was being identified in the country Cameroon, in the country's capital Cameroon, the first case was being identified. Nothing has been heard from the President, His Excellency Paul Biya. None has seen him, but we have been hearing instructions being passed by the President. We have been getting instructions given by the Prime Minister, Chief John Gute. We have equally been following up tweets from the country's Health Minister, Manawuda Malachi, that's updating people on the necessary measures to be followed, the preventive measures to be carried out, and every participation by the citizens of the country in order to fight this common enemy. It should be noted that the COVID-19 pandemic, which broke out in the city of Wuhan in China early January, when it became vulgar, has been creating a lot of disaster, with some European countries being faced with high deadly records. We're talking of Italy, for example, that is really bent, that is on its knees actually, and is not able to contain this pandemic in the country. Italy is faced with these and is having lots and lots of death cases daily. It is even recorded as one of the countries that has the highest death rate per day, where it has recorded up to 1,000 death cases due to the coronavirus. So it should be noted that this pandemic, which affects all and sundry, it doesn't identify power, it doesn't identify ethnicity, it doesn't know personality, it doesn't know age or nothing about individuals. Everybody can get infected by the coronavirus, and we have been seeing even high personalities and people who do have money but have been dying, have been infected from the virus, and others have died out of it. How are African countries particularly going to curtail the spread of this pandemic, considering the weak health system that the African continent and the African economy is having? Looking at the health systems, particularly in Cameroon, just some few hospitals have have been selected amongst the hospital to contain or to manage these infected cases in the country, Cameroon, and now we are faced with some challenges where people are scared, people are living in fear, people are asking the question, what is going to be the real solution to this problem? Presently, Cameroon has the 1510 code emergency number that is supposed to be called for every case of emergency, and we record that by Monday the country, the number recorded over 2,500 calls. It should be noted that those are only calls that were received by this call center. What about the other calls that were suspended and other calls that were not able to go through? Looking at this number of calls that the emergency center receives daily, we see that it is a case of critic and it is affecting the country greatly. So we ask ourselves the question, what is going to be the real solution to get out of this situation? We note presently that some analysts have been proposing that it would be better to decentralize these emergency numbers, to decentralize even the hospitals in charge of diagnosing the results of these exams so that it can ease the work. Considering we know we are now faced in Cameroon with the situation where if the test is being carried out maybe in the northwest region or in the southwest region or in any of the other 9 regions apart from the central region, it is supposed to be transferred to Yaoundé for the results to be determined before getting back to the concerned hospitals. We see this is a very slow pace of functioning. The government has equally put in place instructions and preventive methods where it has announced sensitization and census, door-to-door census that is going to take place from the 2nd to the 7th of April in order to sort out infected cases in the various homes and in the various quarters, in the various neighborhoods. We ask ourselves again this question: how practical is this census method that the government is trying to put in place? Is this safe enough for the people? Is this what the people need by the doctors or the medical personnel moving from one place to another in order to sort out these infected cases? Is there going to be a lot of care taken in order not to infect those who are not yet infected? Proposals have been coming up. People have been suggesting that it would really be necessary to take greater measures in order to combat this pandemic. So talking about that this afternoon on the program Views on the Continent, those of you just joining us, we are seeking to get solutions out of this COVID-19 pandemic that is already ravaging the countries across the world and ravaging equally the economies across the globe, and African economies particularly, which have already been suffering from a weak system. So we put it out to you, televiewers, and to all those glued to their screen and to the website of Afrique Media on Facebook. It is already going on live there. You can leave us your comments, leave us your opinion regarding the topic tabled for you today, as we get signal that we have a caller online already waiting to give his own contribution on the program. Mr. Nick, hello.
Before COVID-19 came in, we've been faced with a lot of challenges. Top on the list is the Northwest-Southwest Anglophone problem. Then, of course, we have a poor and a very weak economy. We have a poor agriculture with very little or no ability for food security, since we import all the rice that we need and many other things. Another indicator is that when you go into our supermarkets, 95% of the stuff you find on the shelves are all imported. And we've got a negative trade balance and a poor industrial fabric. Again, as I said, our problems are collective. It has to do with our collective inability to see things differently, inability to think out of the box, inability to jointly solve problems, and over time we had given the impression that when there are problems in Cameroon, only the government can solve the problems, only ministers have the ideas, and we don't listen to the public, and therefore it had created a situation where everybody folds their hands and waits for ministers to come and tell them to clean their doorsteps. So that is just how bad it is. But we are called upon today to change the way we do business, and either we change and do that or we are dead. Just as a reminder then, we have to be able to wash our hands as regularly as possible, stay home, social distancing, wear a mask is possible, wear a mask as you are going out and coming in, because it's not if possible, because you can make yourself a mask. It's very easy, and if you don't wear a mask, you don't protect yourself and you don't protect others. So it's very important that we wear a mask, and we have to have a sense of self-discipline. Even with a ton of money, our real problems are indiscipline, corruption, and lack of technology. If we don't get our attitudes right, it doesn't matter how much money we have upfront. When you look at our attitude very carefully, you will realize that what we do in Cameroon, at a higher level, we have only one set of glasses. If you are wearing glasses and your glasses are sunshades, so that you wear the same glasses when the sun is up, you wear the same glasses when the rain is falling, you wear the same glasses when it is night, you wear the same glasses when the moon is on, everything will be dark. And that's the way we see things in Cameroon, through politics. It doesn't matter what you are talking about, it's politics from morning to evening. We don't know how to change our lenses, we don't know how to change our thinking cap, and we all think that everything should be politics and praise singing. Today we have a new challenge, and we are called upon to change our thinking cap, the way we see things. And if we don't change our thinking cap, if we don't change our lenses, we will not come out of this mess in which we are today. Because this virus, it's not something that is limited to Cameroon. It's not something that is limited to a small village. It's something that is pandemic, and every nation in the world is trying to help itself, and the virus is not going to give you time to catch up. These things, we started counting, was it on the 17th or so, I can't remember, just a few 10 cases, and today we are at 200, and before you know it, we are at 1,000. So the virus is not going to give you all your time to be thinking out the answers. No, either you're thinking and working on your toes, or it will kill all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Nick, for participating on the program, and that's very important, taking into consideration the various preventive methods that we are supposed to follow, because it is a combined fight. Everybody is involved in the fight against the coronavirus. We shouldn't just expect measures from the government, but sanitary hygiene and sanitary techniques also are supposed to be employed by we ourselves in order to combat these virus. Let's take another call online. Mr. Albert calling from Douala, Cameroon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Afternoon, hello. Hello? Oh, thank you. My name is Albert. I'm calling from Douala. What I want to say is that the government of Cameroon has been failing for long now. And this is more of a shame that they cannot take care of the health of their citizens. Look at what is happening, and the way the government is taking this coronavirus in. It looks like they are so unserious. How can they put measures that we should the bars and other businesses to close at 6? Is it that the virus moves only in the night? They should take more intensive measures, more. They should persist and come out in the open, bring measures that the population will know that this thing is a serious thing. Because people are being infected every day, every time, every moment. Because the country is relaxed. everybody feel like some people don't even think this virus or the thing is real. So I think the government has not really come in the open, has not really shown the population that we have a situation at hand and everybody has to contribute in one way or the other to solve this situation. So what I'm saying is that the head of state himself has not come in the open to address the population. And the government, the government as a whole is trying to play a hide and seek game by their funds. How can they say 1 billion funds to take care of an intercontinental disease of this manner that needs medical attention at any moment and any second? So what I want to say is that the government is failing and they need to stand up because Cameroonians are partially getting infected by this disease each and every day, and the number is increasing. From 1 is now 200, and maybe by the end of this week we will be talking about 1,000 people. So the government should wake up and know that there is a situation in hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert, for contributing on the program. We've taken note of your contribution, and we still ask you, do you think this fight concerns mainly the government? Is it the government that's supposed to put in everything in order to prevent the spread of this virus? I think no, because there are some sanitary methods we are supposed to equally employ, we ourselves, in order to avoid this spread. Let's take another caller online. Hello. Hello. Okay, we lost the caller. We have some little internet problem today, but hopefully it's going to be fine. Now, to you who are just joining us, particularly our panelists who just joined us in the studio this afternoon, we are looking at the COVID-19 pandemic and the numbers that have been swelling in the country. Cameroon. The silence of the President, His Excellency Paul Biya, has been raising eyebrows and causing people to ask questions and to give people room to have some controversial suspicions about the health situation of the President. So I'll just grab you snappily, Mr. Fa Elvis, who just joined us. You're a political analyst. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rita. Good afternoon to all the televiewers, people of Gunoko village, and those of Barakwe and those of Mbengui in general. We'll say greetings to you, but then special greetings to the President-elect, Professor Maurice Kamto of the Cameroon Renaissance movement. Okay,
thank you, Mr. Far Elvis. Thanks for honoring the invitation. Above, despite all odds, you're here now. So we are looking at this. Cameroonians are asking the question, where is their president, Paul Biya? Since the outbreak of the first infected case in the country on the 24th of February, up to date, none has seen nor heard of the President Paul Biya, when other countries are having their presidents and leaders confronting and reassuring their citizens of all necessary measures to be taken in order to curtail the spread. Where is President Paul Biya?
That's a good question. You're asking, where is President Paul Biya? But then we must be able to understand, Rita, that there are signs and symptoms of a failed government. We are living in a kangaroo system where things are taking place in a haphazard manner. And we think that it is abnormal for us even to be asking regarding where the whereabouts of the president. Because with the magnitude, I repeat, with the magnitude of the COVID-19, we get to understand that all head of states are coming out. You know, as I said, when you were in a failed government, those who contributed in putting the failed government should first of all take the blame. All those, we call them CPD, and we were singing songs up and down. I'm even saying that if I were God, the coronavirus will start taking them first. Because these are the persons who have caused us where we are today. You would not imagine that head of state, head of states that matter, are taking the lead. Donald Trump, USA, Prime Minister of Britain, the Prime Minister of Canada, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, the Italian President PM, they are all out. In Africa, we have the African Union chair, who is the South African president at the same time. Yeah. He's out. Zimbabwean president, they are all out. Senegalese president. I don't understand the kind of curse that Cameroon has, that we think that issues of this nature are handled by ministers. Yeah. You will not get this happening in other countries. We understand that in Botswana the other day, the health minister who quarantined the president, because all health ministers now are the chiefs in command, but the presidents are above. Yeah. I am saying that it is abnormal. Professor Maurice Kamto, the president of FRC, or Cameroon Resistance Movement, CRM, has stated clearly that within 7 days, if the head of state does not make an official statement, he, Professor Maurice Kamto of the CRM, who is our national president, will take the responsibility. Why are we saying so? This is a call for concern for those that are at a 2G, to make sure that they should not take this thing as a child's play. Rita, it is an insult of the first order that 26 million and above lives of Cameroonians is being put at risk, because where presidents that matter are taking the lead in the fight against COVID-19, our own president is just staying aloof. And that's why I said earlier that from day one, the day Yaoundé started taking measures, I said they have failed. And what is the indication that they have failed? The constant increase of the number now is 233 from one case. A country whereby people, you block borders, but there are exceptions to some people. With health issues in the nation, there are no exceptions. Exactly. That's why I said that if you hear a health minister in Botswana giving orders for his president not to go out and the president respects, it means that this disease is not a respecter of persons. Yeah. And so the worry comes in, where is the head of state? Our president, Professor Maurice Kamto, has asked this question several times. Cameroonians in their numbers are asking, is it that the problem is so minute that the president of Cameroon is a demigod, a deity, that he sees it not at the level for him to make a statement to come out? That is where you see that I'm saying that in the kangaroo system, we have said we will no longer take the lives of 26 million Cameroonians and above to tax, because look at the measures put in place. Everything is wrong. In Ghana, the president took measures, held consultative talks before coming out with measures ahead. Senegal has done the same. Yeah. Why is it that Yaoundé thinks that they don't need the assistance from anybody apart from them, the cabinet ministers? It's failing because the number is increasing.
Taken day and instructions just being given.
So you only hear them say it's not on the head of state. This is not an issue of instruction from the head of state. It's an issue of Cameroonians. Can we come together? What do we do? You give your opinion as a transport sector. This person gives his own as the buy and sell arm. This one comes as they did for the sham preconditions or for the sham preliminary meetings ahead of the national dialogue.
National dialogue, yeah.
That was good. And so you see, if you could allocate 10 billion for a national dialogue that failed and has no effect as I speak now because things are getting worse. Okay. Then you come and give 1 billion. While countries, France is unleashing 125 billion euro, America is releasing billions, Germany is doing the same. Have we been cursed in this country? And some people think that they should be happy. You can imagine that it beats my imagination. Now we have said that Cameroonians who took part in putting the people where they are should assume their responsibility, because this is what they get. If we are not careful, they should listen to me very well. With these kangaroo measures I see, because they don't want to ask people what do we do, because the only things they know a lot. You are supposed to call opposition. Senegal called opposition parties. Yeah. They took their opinion because those leaders have an idea to say. They went to the market women group. They went to this and that. Everybody is consulted. Before Senegal took a move, even including Kenya. Why is it that Cameroon's own case is always different? The only country that takes more than 12 hours to read election is Cameroon. The only country that the election procedure takes more than 2 weeks, passing through persons to before it's been proclaimed. Something is wrong.
That's the political state of the country which you described, Mr. Far Elvis. But this afternoon, there is a major concern, and it is the health situation of the country. The health and the life of people, of Cameroonians and the citizens across the globe. You're talking of measures which are not strict, measures which are not even serious, according to your description.
Not serious.
Now we have the transporters trade union in the country that have announced an indefinite strike over what they describe as excesses in the anti-coronavirus measures to begin. They say their strikes are going to begin on the 6th of April should the government continue to ignore their grievances. So this comes in place when we notice equally a lot of resistance to the lockdown and the instructions of confinement. What exactly should be done? We have business people that are resistant to these confinement. We have bike and taxi drivers. We even have prostitutes. We have everybody is actually faced with these confinement instructions, and some think that it is not necessary. Some people are resistant to these instructions. What is the solution? What is the way out? Why can't people respect these measures for themselves first before the nation?
As I said, when a government is limping, people tend not to believe you. They tend not to take to the measures you give. It means something is wrong with you. And that's what it goes under what we call the illegitimacy. Because a normal government must be able to say things and people take to it, to show that they recognize the government and the government has what it takes. Now, for a government that is not credible, a government that people think they are always lying even when they are speaking the truth at a point in time, and people still believe that they are still lying as usual, it becomes a problem. Now, look at it. I said that Yaoundé is sleeping. I don't even know if we have credible people in that government. Why do I say so? When you take a look at measures you are putting in place, there must be accompanying measures. I don't know the kind of government we have, but it's a government that needs to sit up. When you say vehicles should not do overloading, it suffices for the government to give an order. A liter of fuel that costs 5.50 from today henceforth is now sold at 3.75 nationwide. Why would somebody not respect the issue of not overloading? When you get one morning and you say that we are going to lock business places, what do? You give accompanying measures. What are the accompanying measures? How do you assist these persons? There must be a mechanism to carve those who do business out. You get a proper planning and you assist them. Because they are thinking of what they'll be losing when they stay home. And remember, a hungry man is an angry man. I said the government does not think at all. Because when you look at the measures, if you see the drivers striking, or for one of their grievances will be that you tell us to maintain, we don't take overload. Uniformed persons on the way, whether you take overload or not, it's not their business. You need to give them money. They don't care about checking your documents. Now, collecting money on the way has become legal, and nobody argues about it. That's why from Douala to Yaoundé, you could get about 10 control points on the road. If you are living from Douala to Limbe, you get about 6 control points on the road. And you don't see them checking anything to say, no, we are checking that arms should not get into Boya or from Boya to Douala. So all is, if you have your money, you go through. So when the drivers, the few who respect the rules, reduce the persons, and at the same time they need to give money to those uniformed persons, as many as they are on the road, and then to buy fuel at the same price, how do they survive? Do we have a government that think at all? That's why I doubt it. So these are what they call accompanying measures are not there. As I said earlier, look at the issue in Rwanda. President Paul Kagame, after bringing about a shutdown, what did he do before the shutdown? He carried out education. As I said, Cameroon has no communication plan. Today, the Minister of Communication is talking his own part. The next day is Mr. Gregoire Warner. He's giving his own part and going. The next day, the Secretary General of the CPD will come. He's giving his own and going another direction. No proper communication plan in Yaoundé. In this case, once you don't have a proper communication plan, the people find it difficult to believe you. And so, when you go to Ghana, Kufo himself in Ghana, you go to Senegal and all the like, they carried out proper communication plan with journalists. And they took time to sensitize the people. By this day, we'll have a lockdown. By this day, we'll do this. Because of this, these are the measures we are putting in place. You get to see that, okay, look like in Senegal. If they are giving you 34,800 francs per family.
Yeah.
I mean 84,000.
84, yeah.
800 francs per family head because you are going to stay home. Do you see why I say that if you put this kind of measures and tell someone to stay home, he will stay home?
Of course.
You take another decree. The government has all its stakes. Yaoundé is not even listening because their first was stubborn. You take a decree from today henceforth because we want to quarantine these towns or Cameroon in general. Nobody should collect rent for the time being, including from government houses.
But that is going to equally affect landlords and landladies.
It has to because you will assist them the other way around.
How do they? Yeah.
You understand? When you are saying that, what do you do? President Paul Kagame has been going around. He was even around again today, giving food door to door. Bags of rice, tons of rice were brought in and all the like. I don't know. You see what they call a proactive government.
Yes.
When you stop rent, because when a man stays home, knowing that at the end the landlord needs to come and ask he or she money, it's a problem. And then you stay home. When the month comes to an end, Sonel must give you bill. AES Sonel. If you don't pay, they come and cut it.
Which is never low.
And when you stay home, you consume more of light and water because you're at home.
Yes.
At the end, water bill will come. If you cannot pay, water will come and cut the water. A proactive government will tell you, don't pay water, don't pay light, don't pay rent till further notice. Because
to the best of our knowledge, the country is rich enough to even manage
the
that.
The country is rich. We look at the way they mismanage money. How many, look at the convoys we move out. Minister wants to go out, you take a convoy, they stay out, social allowance and all the like. Waste of money. You come again in the same system. Those who go abroad every day for treatment. As I said, COVID-19 came in with a lesson. Those who used to go to Europe for medical treatment, you go now, let me see. Since as you refuse to arrange the hospitals because you think that goats are going to the hospitals and they don't need good medical facility. Now that you are suffering from ill health, most of them, and they cannot go abroad because even abroad is not possible to land. So they will learn to use the facilities they refuse to improve upon. You remember this same President Paul Kagame,
yes,
2 years ago, banned all government ministers from going abroad for treatment. When he did so, the ministers started seeing every reason to improve upon the health facilities because they themselves need to use it. And so, if COVID comes now and pick any government minister, I will not be regretting. Because they should taste, they should see what we go through in these hospitals that they refuse voluntarily to equip for selfish reasons because they thought that they have hospitals in France. Those who have gone to France and come back, they have brought coronavirus. That is to tell you that if you stayed at home and made their home better, you would not have had this coronavirus. But since as they thought that their heaven was Europe, so they always swindle money here, go and keep in Europe, swindle and give. Now, Europe now is hellfire. Most of them, why coming back here, they are already having the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Why would they not die?
It was an imported disease, actually.
So, these are the issues. So, I think that we look at the presentation of various politicians. I have seen PAP talking. They have to go to the Constitutional Council because the president has not spoken sometimes. Vacancy. They have a point. They have a point. It's abnormal in this country. The way we are talking every day is wash hands, wash hands. You are supposed to have a president who is at the Bopi market. What does it cost? A chartered plane will land somewhere at the military base here, and you come out and move to the market, condoling with people. Tell them by example how they
now,
live.
some people, citizens and critics are equally arguing that it is not necessarily the presence of the president that is going to make any change regarding this so far as measures are being taken by his surrogates.
Rita, the people are wrong.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people I say they eat the kind of food the CPD people eat. When you hear somebody talk like that, know that there's water in his mouth.
Yeah.
An issue cannot be hot. Presidents are taking the command battle out of their presidential policies. And somebody sees somewhere and say, no, what matters is the measure. I've pinpointed here the shortcomings of the measures.
Yeah.
So how can a human being even become comfortable with the measures? It's surprising. This is the idea when you get to Yaoundé. Yaoundé says you want to destabilize the country. Because they fail to come and meet some of us. And many of you out there who have the ideas to put together. What does it cost? Call it a consultative talks. Journalists come first. This group come first. Drivers come first. What are your worries? You get all of this together before you come out with the final communique that will be respected, because when you are putting the communique, even drivers who want to go against, those who attend the meeting will tell their fellow drivers that no, please, we agreed in this decision. It's okay like that. So you see, we have a government that is redundant. And when it is kangaroo, everything jumps like a kangaroo in disorder. And that's where you see us moving. I can tell you, Rita, where we are now is by the grace of God. Not even by the grace of the government. Because as I said earlier that, even when you talk about the issue of overloading, you will see it. You go to Ndokoti, Tonel and all the like. Go at this hour. There are more than 10,000 bikes around that area. If it's coronavirus, we are finished. So God is even pitying us. Because
some of us, we are faced when you want to get aboard the taxi, they tell you, no, the price has changed because we don't have to overload the car.
The prices change, and you will not blame them. I am coming from Mamenda.
There is no increase.
How much did I pay?
In salary?
7,000 francs instead of usual 5,000.
Okay, that's an additional.
And you pay the 7,000 francs. Why? Because the travel agency sees that he has only 50 seats to take. And with the 50 seats that you are telling him to take, at the same time,
it has
the fuel is the same. The fuel is the same. And I even said, even the 70-seater, the box, when you are traveling in the night, as I traveled, you know the doors, the windows are all closed because, you know, cold comes in. So if you have 2 coronavirus persons in that vehicle, as they breathe out, it circulates only within the box. You still catch it. Yeah. The government has not thought of that. That's why I said a proactive government, as Europe has done, you shut down completely. You shut down completely. And then you take care of those who are concerned.
Okay.
I was in Yaoundé last week, and some funny fellows were telling me that they have the professional schools have now adopted e-learning. And I asked them, e-learning for which kind of stable network do you have? E-learning for when you have epileptic electricity supply?
Because since the confinement, even the internet has not been the best.
I have been telling you that for the past 1 week, I've been unable to have my Zoom call conferences in my online marketing. So you discover that people talk in the air because they are comfortable in the offices in Yaoundé. Maybe they use other forms of network, but they don't know the realities. How do you tell students at the university now to go on e-learning when you know that why A will be carrying e-learning this way and managing with epileptic network, C and G will not even be having light at all.
Okay.
So how do you go about that kind of thing? It is a shame that the government needs to hold the measures they think they are doing. They rethink, consult various stakeholders, the clergy, the media, the market women, and then from there they can come out. But the best thing is that they should not spend Cameroon's money being embezzled. You cannot be charged for embezzlement. You are in prison, and you are sick, and the government disburses hundreds of millions to take you abroad for treatment. Is that normal?
Okay. Now, we have across the world institutions and individuals who have been carrying out frantic efforts in order to curtail the spread of this pandemic and to support it equally, like in Nigeria.
Yep.
Great contributions have been going on. So also in Cameroon, the president opened this solidarity fund with the initial support of 1 billion by the government from government coffers. What now are the priority issues that the funds are supposed to be used for or to be directed towards, considering the continuous increase of the number of infected cases and the little poor health facilities?
Let me just learn now.
Yeah.
The first is that the government has no planification.
So
because if they had
what are the funds going to serve?
If they had planification, they would have been able, through Minister Emmanuel René Sadi, to give us a press briefing that from what we are to collect, we envisage. See, you don't just collect money in the air. You get the point. When you go to Nigeria, before they collected the money, there was a press conference, and the press attaché at Aso Rock gave a press conference and explained what they need, the total amount of budget they needed, and how it will be used.
It was meant.
Now, I said several times on this platform, you cannot be quarantining people in hotels. Is it a normal country with normal leaders? People are sick, you send them to hotels. And I said, a normal government between Yaoundé and Douala, there's vast land. The government owns all land. You just go there and clear something. You can put even what you call a temporary tent. While you start building permanent site. And I said that Yaoundé is stubborn. Because if Yaoundé had done this 2 weeks ago, when I started talking on this media, I am sure that they should have been able now to transfer people now to the center between Yaoundé, whether it's in Bankomo or wherever, there. And I said the disease will not last forever. So that when the disease finishes and it's through, you maintain that place as what we call National Disease Control Center. Because other diseases could be coming. And by so doing, scientists will be there working day in, day out.
Yeah.
As I said, all the government thinks is thinking of something to embezzle money and give us counterproductive measures. What could be the priority of the 1 billion, as I can say? The priority will be to look for a particular site. It could be temporary with tents. We will agree. Get us a temporary site. And another thing I said, this government is not serious. Those who accompany government officials from the plane that had coronavirus, we have not heard anything about them. In the Gambia, the 2 persons who escaped from their quarantine center, their names, family members, were published publicly at the Gambia National Radio and TV.
Yeah.
You get the point. And when they knew it was published, they could not run anywhere. So the families even helped them, brought them back to the Minister of Public Health in the Gambia. Now, as we hear a case escape in Bafoussam, we don't know how it happened. We now know that the number is increasing. What measure is the government putting in place? A normal proactive government will tell you that those, if you suspect cases, call this number free. When you call the number and the case is proven, we'll give you this amount of money.
But that's actually what is...
The number is there, but the accompanying measures are not there.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Okay, talking about this particular number, I think it's the 1510 in Cameroon. Yeah. It seems to be centralized because when you call it, the test is carried out, but the results are only being...
That is why I said the whole, everything has a problem.
You can only get
this is 1 billion we have. They were supposed to transfer the issue to all regional quarters.
Yeah.
And when the number climbs to 500, they transfer it to all divisional headquarters. I said, I don't know how Yaoundé thinks, sincerely. I don't know whether the people think have an iota of the people they govern or not. Because these measures, you don't need to meet a soothsayer.
So should we link this centralization, political centralization of power to equally this particular situation? Because people are proposing that people are proposing the decentralization of these measures in order.
You know, the first issue we have is that Cameroon has a problem. Anything they handle, but politically. The government has cored the minds of the people that anything that you do it with the item of politics in it. When we're talking about assisting Cameroon forces in the far north to cover Boko Haram, people gave money from every direction. At this point in time, the head of state has disbursed 1 billion. We don't have a particular plan for the 1 billion. So, if you want me to go and give you money, I will not give you. I don't know the plan.
The project.
You've seen people commenting on that money that is going to be embezzled. Why? Because in people's mind, they have seen the government live with embezzlement and mismanagement till their kingdom come. So what do you need to do? A communication plan comes up. We will expect about 10 billion, but for the 1 billion we have for the start, we are going to put up these centers. We are going to relocate all doctors, specialists to work in this center like this. For all those who denounce cases of this, you come up and pick this thing as a token. You understand? For helping us. You put all of these measures in place. You put a communication plan. As I said, you work with media. I have not seen the government calling for media, calling for Cameroon English-speaking association, Kamer, calling for the other French-speaking association, journalism association, SNGC and all the like. These are the first things Minister BrigadeAntiSardinard was supposed to have done. So that when they come in, you call the Minister of Public Health. They bring personnel and have a one-day symposium. When the people leave, you send them monies to their various because everything is money. I am surprised that since the coronavirus started more than 2 weeks ago, this is the first time the government is putting up a budget. Whereas government started putting in budget to fight this. I tell you that we have a sleeping government. If care is not taken, within 1 week, we might rise to 1,000 cases. And you can imagine where we're heading to. I thought that when we see what happens in Italy, until the Italy Prime Minister is talking and crying, that the issues are above them. Until doctors from Cuba and China are going for reinforcement because even the medical personnel in Italy, most of them are already having the virus because they were working under precarious conditions, taking care of thousands of... I can say that something is not working well for this country. And as we are in this country, we think that from what Professor Maurice Kamto is saying, if the government thinks that they are still on their heels, they should show proof to us and take drastic measures, because we are already behind time. We are terribly behind time.
There is this new measures that the government has put in place, a door-to-door investigation of infected cases that's going to run from tomorrow, the 2nd of April, to the 7th. How practical do you see this strategy?
When you say door-to-door, as I said, the government is taking the 5th step before the first. The 5th step before the first. When you say door-to-door, are you sure your sensitization is enough in the minds of the people? If not of social media, if not of other media organs like Afrique Media, who took upon themselves their own initiative to be educating people on the coronavirus, has the government ever mandated, as per se, these media organs to do this job? No. So, most of the information people get on social media,
that it's the responsibility of every individual.
It's the responsibility of every individual, but the government is supposed to guide. Where you don't guide, the things go haphazardly. You get the point?
Yeah.
Now, when you say collective, door-to-door, door-to-door would only make sense if you have quarantined the people. You come to my compound, I am in the farm. How do you get information? You come to my compound, I've lost Mbopi because I need to go to my wife to go and sell because we need to earn a living. You come and meet the children, and you are asking the children symptoms which they cannot give you the exact answer. The government is a sleeping government. And you want to go door-to-door, make sure that you quarantine everybody home. Take measures that will keep them at home. Provide facilities that will keep them at home. Give instructions to Cameroon not to seize water. Because you say we should wash hands. How many persons have flowing taps 24/24 in their homes? Every day people are getting buckets to travel to distances to go and carry water. And you think that they'll be able to manage the water they would have been using to drink, to wash with their hands, because we need flowing water from the tap? Today, Enyo is on. Tomorrow is off. Next day, Enyo is on. The next day is off. And they say they are rationing light. Do we have any credible system in this country? That's why I said that a government that means business will not take the 5th step. All these things door to door is just to swindle money, because when you are going door to door, you are paid per day. You fill forms and come back and give forms. They work on statistics and the story ends. The statistics they will do now, as people are hustling up, because you cannot stay home when you don't have food. Rita, it cannot go. If you tell me to stay home, I look at the risk. I have 200 francs in my hand. I have a wife. I have 2 children to feed. Do I stay home? I prefer to take the risk, because than to stay home and let children die of hunger, I need to go out.
Even those of us working right now, making all these movements, we can still control.
We are not even safe.
We are not safe.
I said that a government that is intelligent enough, when you climb a bike, if the bike man in front has coronavirus, as it's moving with you, wind is taking the air as it's breathing to you.
And even doctors say the virus stays, it has a lifespan of about 12 hours on material. It has a lifespan of about 12 hours. On material, or on cloth.
So if Cameroon means business, they should forget about this business of door to door, because they want to justify the expenditure of the 1 billion. That's what they want to do. Okay,
Mr. Fa Elvis, now, can you tell us and our televiewers this afternoon what you think are the strict and stringent methods that the government, you think, or you propose the government should apply? And what are the priority things that these funds are supposed to be directed towards with these soaring numbers of infected cases in the country?
Yaoundé and Etudi, listen and listen very well if you care to listen. Point number 1, you put in place a communication strategy. Rita, all what we're talking here ends only in the cities. There is a woman in Gelemunduka, there is a woman in Kumfutu who does not have electricity, does not have water, and does not even have radio signals. How does that mother know about what we're talking here in the studio? You see how I said the government is redundant? But when you put in place a communication plan takes care of those who are in town and those who are in the hinterlands. It takes care of the various languages that exist within the community. There should be Fufude, Hausa, what have you, from Meta, from Womb. You put all those communication strategies in different dialects and send to the villages. You get the point? You use traditional drums, what they call them drum. Use all traditional methods plus modern methods.
And the town criers.
That is, you need to be done. It needs to be done. If you do that, the next thing is, with the budget you say you have, you pass through the Ministry of Commerce. As I said, if a bag of rice, 50 kg, is costing 18,500 francs, subsidize it and let people buy for 5,000 francs. Meaning what? You are preparing for eventual lockdown. You tell them in 2 weeks time we are locking down. And when you are selling, you don't sell more than 2 persons. You put in place a system so that business people don't come and buy, go and keep to sell after. So when you put this system, if they don't know, Yaoundé call for us, call for MRC, call for Professor Maurice Kanto. We will help you, tell you what to do because they don't know what to do. When you do that, you realize that when you have this Ministry of Commerce, they used to come and do this cheap sales. So that you put in tomatoes and everything on cheap sales.
Yeah.
Where people are acquiring, you give overdraft to civil servants.
Yeah.
Then you identify people as per association. Women buy and sell them associations. You identify them, put a data, and then you send some money that will trigger right down to them. So it's divided right to their homes.
Yeah.
So at least somebody can have 10,000 francs, somebody have 7,000 francs, depending on the number of persons that person has in the house. Because when you have this money at hand, now with the cheap issues they're auctioning, food items, garot oil, palm oil, a liter is costing 750. They give you a liter for 300. So you buy these things and go and stock.
Yeah.
Prepare for eventual lockdown. Those monies will come from the money people are contributing.
Yeah.
When you do that, the next thing is while the communication strategy is on, is going on. Going on means part of that 1 billion you have, you move about 500 million francs and above. You disburse to communication.
Yeah.
All media organs pay them upfront. They intend to train their media houses, so they take it as a priority. It's important.
While equally setting up the National Disaster Center.
You set up National Disaster Center. You set up teams that will go to Njangi houses before you quarantine people. Before you say don't go add more than 50. So when they go to their meetings, people come there and talk health personnel, different groups. You recruit people. They come when they are giving the sensation. By the time that you are closing it, you say now in this budget we will subsidize Sonel, subsidize Snake, and we will equally subsidize internet.
Yeah.
Free internet. You can even put reduced telephone costs, not free.
Because Camer first of all belongs to the government.
Good, it belongs to the government. When you give free internet, but you reduce the telephone cost cheaper, so people who have cases can easily call in family members to communicate within.
Exactly.
When you do this, people will stay home without paying light and water because it's free, and rent for free. You identify the landlords and you give them incentives so they should not feel bad. When you put all of this in place, you now take 2 weeks quarantine.
And we don't see
everybody
why,
at home.
We don't see why the citizens will not be able to respect.
I don't see why they will not sit home. Because in that case, if they see you out in Italy, those who were caught outside were punished. Because the government had given a subsidization.
Yeah.
So you cannot have money that the government gives you to sit home and you're going out again.
Going outside.
It means you have bad intention.
Okay.
And so when you do this, you deploy the military personnel and then you give the military personnel incentives. Because they need to be watching over the stores and belongings of people because everybody's at home. If not, some hooligans will come out, go and break people's stores and all the like.
They're always criminals.
You close the market, close everything. And then people stay home. 1 week, 2 weeks, they were only watching TV. Afrique media is there talking. Other stations are talking. We're watching internet.
And getting informed.
Free internet. I said free.
Okay.
Who will not get information?
Mr. Elvis, thank you so much for your proposals. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for your contribution, and obviously he gave brilliant ideas which we pray can get to those that are in charge of carrying out these measures and taking out these decisions in order to get the people of Cameroon and the citizens of this country and the people across the globe to be confined and to be safe. With this, televiewers, we can say nothing more than thank you for staying tuned to the programs of Afrique Media, for always trusting our programs. A big thank you to the technical department. Thank you to you, Mr. Elvis, for being here this afternoon and for enlightening us with your know-how. With this, we say they pull the curtains now on the program Views on the Continent on the 1st of April 2020, and nothing more than asking you to stay safe and stay home. Thank you.